Hey, what's up guys? It's Roy here. So today let's talk about the Nothing Phone 2. And I really want to go from a buyer's perspective here in the United States. Should or shouldn't you pick this up? Now, I'm not going to get lost in the weeds with talking about all the specs and everything. There are some things I do want to talk about the phone, but ultimately I want to kind of talk through if you are going to buy it and you are here in the US of A, what do you think? Like, do you want to buy it? Do you want to wait and see if other people get it and they enjoy it here? Obviously, with the support of multiple bands now and being able to have that carrier support here in the United States, that's very reassuring. But there are two major things that have made my decision a little bit harder, because I was flat out, without a doubt, like, yeah, I'm getting the Nothing Phone 2, no problem. But then after a few, days, I started thinking like, it might not be that easy for me. So number one reason why it might not be that easy is that it has jumped up in price to $599. Now, I do understand that they have made the phone technically better, putting a more flagship chip in it, even though it's a flagship chip from last year. But the point is, it's still a better chip than what they had last year. So with new comes more money. I just didn't think it was going to get that much more expensive. So that does make it difficult, because even though some people might say $599 is a mid-range budget phone, it's still $600, guys. So $600, that's a lot of money. And number two, that makes my decision a little harder is that so far I have not seen anything saying that there's going to be phone carriers here in the United States carrying this device. And that's a big blow and a punch to the gut for people like me, who I get all my phones through T-Mobile. I have Magenta Max, I have JOD. So I'm always trying to get my phones through them because I don't have to put any money down on them and I can pay it out. And with JOD, I can use it for a few months and then just turn it back in and get another device, right? So that's kind of a bummer that I can't do that. Now, I'm not saying that eventually phone carriers won't, but I feel like if they were, they would have already shown that partnership, especially at the launch, saying, oh, hey, and you in the United States, you can go to T-Mobile and go get this, or AT&T and go get it. And that was nothing in that kind of initial launch of the device. And all the research I've done, it's not going to happen, it seems like. So you're going to have to buy the phone directly through Nothing, which means there's not going to be any promos. There's not going to be any, hey, get a new line and you get this phone for free. So the point is that for me, $600 is a lot. So do I just put it on a credit card and pay it out? Do I just splurge? I mean, that's the decisions that I think a lot of people that wanted to get this phone maybe have to take a step back now, because they quickly realized, oh crap, I just can't go to T-Mobile and pick it up. So let me know down in the comments what you think about that angle, because that's something I've been thinking about a lot. Now, if you do go online and pre-order it, the base model is $599. That's where it's at. But if you jump up to the next one up, you do get $50 in savings, which I guess is something. So it's $50 more than the $599. So you're at $649, and then you're getting more storage, more RAM, etc., etc. And I think that's when you can jump up to the white color. If you stick with the base, you're stuck at this grayish black color, which I personally like. I always wanted the white one for the Nothing Phone 1, but looking at this gray color now, which it's kind of a nice blend, I really think I'm going to go towards that one if I do get it, because I just think it looks good. And I also think that it's going to make that glyph interface pop a little more against a darker background. But going down that rabbit hole of like everything about this phone, ultimately it's a mid-range phone, right? Yes, it does have the high-end Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or Plus, or forget what it was off the top of my head now. But the point is that it is a flagship chip, even though it was a flagship chip from last year, but it's better than what they've had. You are getting a bigger phone. So they made it from 6.5 to 6.7. I personally am not a fan of the idea of going bigger, but in 2023, everyone loves bigger phones. I personally like smaller phones. Like, I love the Pixel 4. Just the battery life sucked. If I could get my hands on the Zenfone 10, that would probably be my daily driver, to be honest with you, especially with Marquez just pumping it up. Like, I want that phone so bad. And that's a phone that's about the same price as the Nothing Phone. So Just think about that. But once again, people that are going after the nothing phone doesn't really care about that stuff, I don't think. Like, I think that they care about more of that enthusiast, like, never been done type phone, right? Like, even though it's the second gen, it's still a phone that there's no other phone that looks like it, right? So it's a true one of a kind type of phone that's competing against Samsung and iPhones and OnePlus and all these rectangular shaped phones, but this one's just a tad bit different. But the point is it just looks cool. The glyph interface might be gimmicky, but they've increased the usability and the functions. I think there's only one third-party app right now that works with it from Uber, but the little LED lights will kind of tick down as the driver gets closer to you. So that's kind of cool, but I feel like people are still going to look at their phone because they're like, okay, well, what does that mean? It's half a bar. So are they almost here? Are they halfway here? Maybe they look and see, okay, estimated time. So yes, you can look at that glyph, but I feel like people are still going to look at their phone. I do like that you can now kind of customize it to notifications for different apps, or leave one on where if you haven't checked like your message from like my wife, for example, then it stays solid if it's been something from her that I haven't checked. So there's a lot of new things that you can do, but I'm sure also with software updates and stuff like that, there's going to be just more and more usability with it. The screen's gotten, like I said, bigger, but brighter as well, up to 1600 nits. You got an LTPO display now, so that's going to help with battery life. So with the combination of the new chip, everyone that I've been watching on YouTube says they're getting like 7+ hours of screen on time, which is 2 thumbs up. I absolutely love that. I was a little nervous actually, because with the old chip, I believe that's the chip that was in the Samsung Galaxy S22, and I had heating issues and really not that great battery life with that device. So it's nice to see that they've been able to optimize this over the last year to get that better screen time, even though MKBHD did say that he has been getting the most heat warnings of any phone ever, and that might have something to do with that, but it might get hot to the touch while charging and all that, but I don't think you're gonna burn a hole in your pants. Also, it does come with a really cool charger, not charging brick, but charging cable in the box. I like that they're doing this like translucent, transparent design kind of signature across the board with stuff like that. So kind of putting their touch on that custom USB-C cable, putting their touch on the SIM card ejector tool. I really like that, and it's different, right? I mean, there's no charging brick. It'd be kind of cool if you had an option to buy like a cool clear one to kind of match everything. Maybe they will at some point, I don't know. But the point is yeah, you get that stuff in it. There's no expandable storage. You do get an IP rating, but it's not the best, but it's something. There is the fingerprint issue that's still pretty low. I wish they had raised it, to be determined, but everyone says they hate having to go so low with it, but is what it is, I guess. The camera system's not the best. It's probably not the best talking point of this phone. You do get that dual camera setup, so there is no telephoto lens, but the point is it is a sensor that's like in some OnePlus phones. So it is okay, but it's not the best. From everything that I've seen, it takes okay 4K video, but then it has some issues where if you got something bright in the background to kind of figure out like what it needs to do. So it might blow out the background versus a more flagship device. So maybe with Gen 3 for the nothing phones, maybe they'll really focus on that camera is what it is. But from everything I've seen, it is passable footage, passable photos with good light. Once it starts to get darker, maybe not the best. But once again, I don't think people are buying this to go and take like professional photos or obviously like cinematic videos. It's just there if you need it, right? To snap that moment, etc., etc. But I think that's it, guys. I really don't want to just blah, blah, blah and talk in your ear this whole time. But ultimately, I just really wanted to kind of figure out what people's perspectives are about this Nothing Phone 2. Now, for me, once again, being a tech channel and reviewing phones and electronics and phone cases, I'm going to get this phone. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to get it because, like I said, I have 5 kids, mouths to feed here. So splurging $600, I don't know. So if you're watching this video, guys, and you know a hookup of somehow or nothing, you're watching this, holler at me. I would sure love to get one of these. But the point is, guys, I'm going to find one. So keep your eyes out for some videos about it. But yeah, what do you think? I don't know. If you're a user in the United States, let me know down in the comments. Like I said, there are some pros and cons, just like with any phone. But I do feel like that the pros outweigh the cons. But you let me know. So hit that like button if you like this video. If you loved it, please subscribe. Ring that notification bell for up-to-date content. So be safe. God bless. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.